So as I've mentioned on my previous videos on this channel, I'm going to be making a lot of reactions to things in America, American culture, and just trying to find out as much as I can about America. And one of the videos that I seen that I thought I would do a reaction to is this one. It's called 21 Things in the US That Puzzle Most Foreigners. So I'm from the UK, I'm a foreigner to Americans. I'll be interested to see if any of these puzzle me and just to see what the actual content of this video is.
Well, you may have lived in the United States your whole life without realizing that something totally normal for you seems bizarre to people from other parts of the world. Who knew that munching on fried pickles in a highly air-conditioned room was so outlandish? Well, here are some other highly entertaining
I've never even heard of a fried
I've
pickle.
gathered. Let's count it down from number 21.
Okay.
Sales tax is a guessing game. When you go shopping in the U.S. and see a price tag that says $14.88, don't expect to pay $14.88 at the register. Sales tax is not included in the price of an item.
Well,
and since this tax can vary from state to state, figuring out your total can turn into the ultimate mental math challenge.
That's actually interesting because I live in Malaysia. I'm from the UK, but I live in Malaysia, and they actually have a similar system. When you go to supermarket, all the prices that are on things are the price you'll pay, but when you go to restaurants and different things, actually the price that you see on the menu isn't the final price. There's always like an extra 2 taxes on top of that as well. So it's actually very similar here in Malaysia, and it can get quite confusing, but probably not as confusing as in America with the different taxes in different states.
European countries, the sales tax is already included in the price.
Yeah, that's true.
It's known as a value-added tax, or VAT. Number 20.
But it seemed like those tax figures in the US were lower.
A lot of Americans don't feel the need to take long vacations, so they often let vacation and sick hours pile up without ever using them. Plus, most employers only give you 2 weeks out of the year. But in a lot of other countries, like Brazil or Finland, workers are encouraged to take an average of 30 days of vacay.
Definitely. That 2 weeks in a whole year is how much annual leave Americans get. That's horrific. I'm actually shocked. If you're from America, how do you feel about that? Do you feel it's like too little? It said there people don't even use their holidays. Is that out of choice, or do companies just not let you take as much annual leave as you can take? That's
maybe I should take some time off.
That must be quite hard.
I'll just keep waiting. 19. It's not a party without red Solo cups. In the States, this red plastic cup
that's
is
in every American teen movie.
But other countries apparently don't recognize this cup to mean the same thing. People in the UK, for example, don't use red Solo cups at get-togethers.
I've never seen one in the UK.
They have to go to a special website to purchase the cups for American-themed parties. Who knew?
Yeah, man, it's like in American Pie and all these things.
Whether it's fried pickles or even fried Oreos, America has it all.
What?
Fried fish recipes first appeared in Spanish and Portuguese
man, fried fish is fish and chips.
As far back as the 1200s, and the Greeks were frying food in olive oil way back in the 5th century BCE. But as America does with many things, they've adopted a tradition from far-off lands and took it up a notch, or 5. 17.
Yeah, man, I feel a connection with the US on that. I'm from Scotland. We fry everything. You go to the fish and chip shop, you can get fried pizza, fried hamburger, and it's not even, it's just greasy. It's like disgusting, but it tastes so good. So I feel you, America, on that one.
Get everything you need right at the pharmacy. If you're not from the US, it may be puzzling to walk into a pharmacy and see aisles and aisles of over-the-counter meds, toys, makeup, clothes, and even groceries. Unlike in other countries where pharmacies sell medicine and medical supplies exclusively, the ones in the US are like small convenience stores where you can grab magazines,
cool, I guess that's quite
and
good.
a frozen pizza in one fell swoop.
Saves you having to go to too many different places.
In America, if a restaurant doesn't offer free refills on fountain drinks, it's kind of strange. But in other countries,
Nice.
once you buy one beverage, that's it.
Yeah, that's true.
France banned refills on sugary sodas back in 2017 in order to combat the current obesity epidemic. But in the US, the idea of free refills is still alive and well.
That's true. That's one thing we have here in Malaysia. We have like Carl's Jr. and there's a place called Texas Chicken. I think it might be called something else in America, but they have those machines that you can just keep pressing and drink as much as you like, as much as you want. So maybe in Malaysia they take some things from America, I think.
15. If you don't like it, return it. Whether it's an ugly sweater from grandma or a heinous pair of earrings from an ex, if you don't like it, you can just return it. In America, making returns at stores is pretty normal and
I feel like that's
easy.
normal everywhere.
I mean, the US even has a National Returns Day in January, conveniently held for you
A
to
National
return
Returns
holiday
Day.
gifts you weren't too thrilled about.
Okay, man, nice.
14. Tips for everyone. Cab drivers, servers, hairdressers, you gotta tip them. Tips are acceptable for almost any service in the U.S. and sometimes consist of 25% of the bill.
Whoa,
We
that's
haven't
pretty
started
high.
tipping surgeons yet,
Yeah.
but there are places in other parts of the world, such as Japan, that consider tipping incredibly rude,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
in restaurants.
That's true.
When you travel to different countries, it's important to learn their tipping etiquette so that you don't offend anyone.
Yeah, and tell me if you're from the USA, tell me what you think about tipping, or if you're from anywhere. For me personally, I don't mind giving people money for good service. I think that's fine, but I actually feel that it should be on the employer to pay these servers and people more money, and so they're not relying on tips. I feel like it's actually a way for companies to save money and get out of paying like a good wage to their employees. So I'm not against tipping as such, but I do think that companies should take more responsibility to pay their workers more so they don't rely on tips so much.
13.
I think it should be optional for tipping.
With a Starbucks on every corner, it's very normal to see people toting around a coffee as they shop, commute to work, and whatever else at all times of the day. But in many parts of the world, coffee is meant to be sipped on while seated and enjoying the paper or chatting with friends. Tugging your coffee along
Yeah.
with you throughout the day.
I think
might be
everybody
due to the
these
fact
days
that the
does
cups are
take
huge
away
and
their
take
coffee in
longer to
every
drink.
country.
Who's got that kind of time to be sitting in a cafe for hours? Sounds like fun to me.
But yeah, sitting in
Number
the
12,
cafe is nice.
The land of ice-cold drinks. Now, speaking of drinks, if it's not a hot coffee or cocoa, then it's probably got ice in it. Tea, coffee, lemonade, soda, water. Americans like it on the rocks. If you go elsewhere in the world, odds are you'll be sipping your soda at room temperature, or maybe slightly refrigerated if you don't specifically ask for ice.
Really? I don't think
Nope.
that's true, man. I think ice is universal. I thought it was anyway. Like, definitely in the UK, if you drink a drink, you'll get ice inside it. Here in Malaysia, they drink iced coffee a lot as well. I never used to like iced coffee, but Dunkin' Donuts actually do one of the best
Number
iced
11.
coffees.
Keeping the AC on at all times. Americans must have an aversion to being hot. In many parts of Europe, people simply don't use air conditioning as much as they do in the States. Here,
Yeah.
it's expected to
Never
always
in the
have the
UK.
AC blaring, and a lot of visitors find it pretty strange and quite chilly. But come on, it makes sense. If you're cold, you can layer up. If you're hot, all you can do is suffer and complain about it. Number 10. Looking at dollars is a snooze fest. I remember going to Europe for the first time and thinking their banknotes looked like Monopoly money. And I guess a lot of countries have bills of different colors and sizes depending
Yeah,
on the
that's true.
value, like Swedish krona and Russian rubles. But not in the US. It's all greenbacks, baby. Sure, 10s look a little yellowy, 50s are kind of pinkish, and
Oh,
Benjamins
really? I
seem
never knew
newer
there
than
was
the
like
others.
differences
But
between
still,
those
US
notes.
dollars definitely aren't as fun and rainbowy as other currencies.
Yeah, that's true actually.
Number
yeah.
9. Giving a thumbs
Here in Malaysia,
up.
a very colourful
In
money
America,
actually.
even little kids know a thumbs up means good job, way to go, or anything positive like that. But if you travel to Greece or the Middle East and give this common American gesture, you probably won't make too many friends.
Yeah, never
Hey,
knew that.
how about giving this video a thumbs up for the useful tip? Number 8. The date writing conundrum.
Yeah, man, this
So many
pisses me
visitors
off,
to
man.
the U.S. get really confused by the month, day, year thing.
come on, if you're from America, tell me this just doesn't make sense. Surely you start with the lowest kind of value of the day to then the month, then the year just makes perfect sense. I don't even know why this has to be this
Because
way, man.
most parts of the world write the day, then the month, then finally the year. There's no clear historical reason why the U.S. insists on writing the day differently, but we just do.
Trying to be unique.
Number 7. Pre-baby baby showers. Many cultures celebrate a new baby coming into the world, but America is one of the few places that does this before the baby actually gets here. In East Asian countries, for instance, celebrations for a new baby are held once the baby is born, as doing otherwise is seen as bad luck.
No, I think that's because, like, yeah, here in Malaysia also, they do have baby showers beforehand. They do have things after. I think it's like 30 days after, 100 days after, but
Number 6.
pre-birth is also quite normal as well.
Means hello. Sure, people ask each other how they're doing in other countries, but Americans often use this phrase as a replacement for hey or hello.
Okay.
It doesn't even require a real response. People just answer with fine thanks, even if they're in a horrible mood or had a terrible day.
Just to be
Number
polite.
5. Bathroom stalls that aren't so private. Don't like doing your business in front of complete strangers?
Yeah,
Americans don't either, of course. But the fact that bathroom stall doors often reveal as much as your entire lower leg seems to say otherwise.
Really? Is that true?
There's no clear reason
Why?
as to why there's this big gap in public bathroom stalls here. But many guess it's for safety reasons or ventilation.
So you can escape underneath
Just
if
saying.
a monster comes
Number
out the
4.
toilet?
No one uses their inside voice. A lot of my friends who are visiting or moved to the U.S. tell me that locals speak so loud compared to other countries. Whether it's talking on your cell
That's a
phone
bit of a
or chatting with a
stereotype.
friend over lunch, Americans seem to really like projecting their voice.
Yeah, I've heard that
I don't
before,
know.
man.
Maybe we
Americans
just want to make
like
sure we're heard.
have a reputation
Number
for being
3.
very loud
It's all
and
about choices.
outgoing.
Walk into any grocery store aisle and you'll notice at least 10 different options for cookies, crackers, or cereal. People in the UK don't have these many options for food, and you'll almost never find anything in grape flavor there.
Is that true? We have a lot of cereal. We have a lot of snacks. Yeah, maybe grape flavour. I don't really see much grape flavoured things actually. That's quite true. Don't get like grape juice and things like that as commonly in the UK anyway.
Number 2. Hopping into the back seat of a cab. When getting into a cab, it's customary in the States to scoot on into the back seat. But in countries like New Zealand and Australia, riding anywhere but shotgun can be a little rude.
Yeah, I'm always unsure about that as well. I don't want to seem rude. Guess that's maybe like my Britishness. I don't want to be awkward, so it's like either way could be rude. You don't want to sit in the front and the person's like, why are you sitting beside me? Or you don't want to sit in the back and then the person's like, do they think I smell or something like that? So it's like always for me very awkward where to sit.
1. That classic American smile. In the U.S., people aren't afraid to be nice and show their pearly whites all the time. And according to a 2015 study at Brown University, because America has always been a very diverse country, it forced people to smile at each other more since they couldn't always communicate with language.
No, that's
just
interesting
one
actually.
more
That makes
historical
sense.
theory
That's quite
as to
cool.
why Americans tend to smile more than people in other places do. Or
Nice.
maybe we're just, friendlier.
Yeah, I think
Whether you're from
Americans
the
are very
US or not.
friendly.
Can you add any more strange Americanisms to the list? Let me know down in the comments. If you learned something new today,
Yeah, tell me some more like things about America, puzzling things, but I really found that quite interesting. I don't think a lot of them were as puzzling as maybe this video thought. I already knew quite a lot of them, and a lot of them are very common here in Asia and the UK as well. But it's very interesting, some of the real cultural differences between the US and other countries. And yeah, I like that last part where it's talking about the diversity of the US and stuff. That's very cool. And yeah, I'm really enjoying finding out more about America. It's really cool, man. It's a great country. And yeah, recommend some other videos that show me more about America. I really am enjoying this education about the US and American people. Recommend some more. I'll check them out soon. Thanks.